The alarm woke Jake at 0530 hours. He dressed quickly in the standard gray training uniform that had been provided. The material felt strange against his skin, some kind of synthetic fabric that adjusted to his body temperature. He stepped out of his sleeping quarters into the common area. Katie and Danny were already there, looking nervous. The other squad members arrived one by one. Vexlar's shell gleamed in the artificial light. Moralyn's skin looked darker, probably a sign of stress in her species. Zeph checked and rechecked his equipment belt with all four hands. Curacao pulsed with a dim orange glow. "Good morning," Jake said. "There is nothing good about it," Vexlar clicked. "Today we prove ourselves, or we fail." They ate breakfast in the main cafeteria. The room was massive, filled with hundreds of cadets from dozens of species. Each species had their own food stations. The human section offered recognizable items like eggs, bread, and fruit. Jake ate quickly, knowing he would need the energy. At 0700 hours, all cadets were ordered to report to Training Bay 7. Jake followed the crowd through the corridors. The bay was enormous when they entered. The ceiling was at least 50 feet high. The floor was marked with colored lines indicating different training zones. Equipment was stacked along the walls. Jake saw climbing walls, rope courses, balance beams, and obstacles he could not identify. Commandant Helvar stood on a raised platform at the front of the bay. Next to him was another officer, a muscular creature with 6 eyes arranged around its head and skin the color of stone. "Cadets," the commandant's voice boomed, "this is Instructor Kelthor. He will oversee the physical trials. Listen to his instructions. Follow them exactly. Your performance is being recorded and will affect your final rankings." His 6 eyes moved independently, looking at different parts of the crowd at once. "The first trial is simple," he said. His voice was rough, like grinding rocks. "You will carry a standard military equipment pack across the obstacle course. The pack weighs 40 kilograms under standard galactic gravity. You must complete the course without dropping the pack. You must finish within the recommended time of 10 minutes. If you fail, you will be given one more chance tomorrow. Fail twice, and your ranking drops significantly." Murmurs spread through the crowd. 40 kilograms was heavy for most species. Jake did some quick math in his head. 40 kilograms in standard galactic gravity would feel like about 28 kilograms on Earth. Not particularly heavy, but these aliens had evolved under lighter gravity than humans. "We will go in alphabetical order by species designation," Instructor Kelthor announced. "Aquarians first." Moralyn's skin turned even darker. She walked to the equipment station where assistants helped her put on the pack. It was a standard military design, with straps that went over the shoulders and around the waist. The pack was bulky, filled with supplies that soldiers would need in the field. Moralyn bent under the weight as soon as the pack settled on her back. Her legs trembled. She took a step forward, then another. The obstacle course started with a low wall to climb over. Moralyn approached it slowly. She tried to pull herself up, but the pack dragged her down. After 3 attempts, she barely made it over. The next obstacle was a balance beam, narrow and raised 3 feet off the ground. Moralyn stepped onto it carefully. Halfway across, the weight of the pack pulled her to one side. She fell off, landing hard on the padded floor. "Continue," Instructor Kelthor ordered. This time she made it across, but she was already breathing hard. The course continued with a crawl section under low bars, a rope climb, a series of high steps, and a final sprint to the finish line. Moralyn struggled through each section. By the time she reached the crawl section, she was moving so slowly that Jake could barely watch. She collapsed twice, but forced herself to continue. When she finally crossed the finish line, the timer showed 18 minutes and 32 seconds. "Failed," Instructor Kelthor announced without emotion. "Next." Other Aquarians went next. Most failed. One managed to finish in 12 minutes, which was still above the recommended time, but counted as passing. The Draconians went next. They were large and strong, built for combat. They handled the packs better than the Aquarians, but even they showed strain. Their wings kept getting caught on obstacles, and the pack's weight affected their balance. About half passed, half failed. Vexlar went when the klaxons were called. He was one of the largest cadets in the bay. His black shell gleamed as he approached the equipment station. The assistant strapped the pack onto his back. His mandibles clicked rapidly. He moved through the course with determination. His multiple legs gave him good stability on the balance beam. His strength allowed him to pull himself over the walls, but Jake could see the effort it took. Vexlar's shell developed a sheen of moisture. His movements became slower and less controlled as he progressed. When Vexlar reached the rope climb, he paused at the bottom, catching his breath. He grabbed the rope with his front legs and pulled himself up. His back legs pushed against the rope below. He climbed steadily but slowly. At the top, he touched the marker and descended. The final section was a sprint across 50 meters of open floor. Vexlar ran, his legs pumping hard. He crossed the finish line and immediately bent over, his whole body heaving. 9 minutes and 47 seconds, Instructor Kelthor announced. Passed. Vexlar walked back to where the squad waited. He looked at Jake, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. That was harder than I expected, he admitted. I train every day. I am strong among my people. But that pack felt like it was crushing me. Jake nodded, but did not say anything. More species went. The Luminar cadets could not even lift the packs, their crystalline bodies not designed for heavy loads. They were exempted and given alternative trials. The Tetrans did better with their 4 arms to distribute the weight, but most still struggled. Zeph finished in 11 minutes and 20 seconds, just over the recommended time. The pattern became clear. Some species were built for strength, others for speed, or intelligence, or other abilities. Very few found the 40-kilogram pack easy to manage. Many failed completely. Katie went when humans were called. She approached the pack with confidence. The assistants helped her put it on. She adjusted the straps and nodded. Ready, she said. She moved through the course efficiently. She was not fast, but she was steady. She climbed the walls without hesitation, crossed the balance beam with good control, and pulled herself up the rope with strong, even movements. When she finished, the timer showed 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Passed, Instructor Kelthor said. One of his eyes focused on Katie with what might have been surprise. Danny went next. He was stronger than Katie, more muscular. He completed the course in 7 minutes and 53 seconds, moving through obstacles like they were barely there. Passed. The bay had grown quieter. Jake noticed aliens watching the humans more carefully now. 2 out of 2 had passed easily, faster than most other species. Then it was Jake's turn. He walked to the equipment station. The assistants were a Draconian and a Tetran. They lifted the pack. This is the standard 40-kilogram load, the Draconian said. It will feel heavy. Take your time. Thanks, Jake said. They placed the pack on his shoulders. Jake felt the weight settle onto his back. He adjusted the straps slightly, making sure they sat comfortably. The pack felt light, much lighter than the training packs he used on Earth. He had been carrying 50-kilogram packs during his preparation for the academy. Ready? The Tetran assistant asked. Yes, Jake said. He walked to the starting line. Instructor Kelthor's 6 eyes all focused on him. Begin. Jake started moving. The first wall was easy. He grabbed the top and pulled himself over in one smooth motion. He landed lightly on the other side and kept moving. The balance beam was next. Jake stepped onto it without slowing down. His feet found the center naturally. He walked across quickly, the pack's weight not throwing him off at all. He dropped to his hands and knees for the crawl section. The pack rode on his back, but it did not press him down the way it had pressed down Morlin. He crawled quickly under the bars and came out the other side. The rope climb was simple. Jake grabbed the rope and pulled himself up hand over hand, using his legs to push. He reached the top, touched the marker, and descended just as quickly. The high steps required him to lift his legs up to waist height repeatedly. Jake bounded up them, the pack bouncing slightly on his back, but not slowing him down. The final sprint was 50 meters of open floor. Jake ran. Not a desperate sprint, but a steady, controlled run. He felt good. His muscles felt warm and ready. He crossed the finish line and stopped. He was not breathing hard. He barely felt tired. The timer displayed 5 minutes and 18 seconds. The entire training bay went silent. Jake looked around, confused by the sudden quiet. Hundreds of cadets stared at him. Instructor Kelthor's 6 eyes were all fixed on him, wide with what Jake realized was shock. "How?" Vexlar's voice broke the silence. The klaxon pushed through the crowd to stand in front of Jake. "How did you do that? You are smaller than me. You look weak. How did you carry that pack like it weighed nothing?" Jake looked at the pack still on his shoulders. He had honestly forgotten it was there. "It does not weigh that much," he said simply. 40 kilograms, Vexlar insisted. 40 kilograms nearly broke me. You ran with it. Other cadets crowded closer, talking in dozens of languages. Jake saw confusion, disbelief, and something else. Maybe fear. Maybe respect. He was not sure which. Commandant Helvar appeared on the platform, his wings spreading slightly, his glowing eyes fixed on Jake. "Cadet Morrison," his voice cut through the noise. "Remain after the trials. We need to discuss this." The remaining trials continued, but Jake could feel eyes on him constantly. Cadets from other squads kept glancing his way. Instructors whispered to each other while looking at their data pads. The atmosphere in Training Bay 7 had changed completely. When the last cadet finished their attempt, Instructor Kelthor called for attention. "All cadets are dismissed, except for the human contingent," he announced. "Return to your quarters. Training resumes at 1400 hours. The bay slowly emptied. Vexlar approached Jake before leaving. "I do not understand what happened," the klaxon said quietly, "but I saw it. You made that trial look easy. Tomorrow, I want to know how." Jake nodded. "I will explain. I promise." When only the 3 humans remained, Commandant Helvar descended from the platform. Up close, he was even more impressive. His scales were scarred in places, marking old battles. His wings were folded, but Jake could see they would span at least 15 feet when opened. "Follow me," the Commandant ordered. They walked through the corridors in silence. Other cadets moved out of the way when they saw the Commandant. He led them to a conference room with a large table and chairs of various sizes to accommodate different species. A view screen covered one wall, showing a view of space outside the station. "Sit," Commandant Helvar said. They sat. The Commandant remained standing, his full height making him tower over them. "I have been training soldiers for 43 years, he began. "I have seen cadets from every major species in the Federation. I have seen prodigies and weaklings and everything between. But I have never seen a cadet complete the weight trial the way you did, Cadet Morrison. You carried 40 kilograms like it was nothing. You ran the course in half the recommended time. You were not even tired at the end." He paused, his glowing eyes fixed on Jake. "Explain." Jake took a breath. "It is because of Earth's gravity, sir." "Elaborate." "Earth has a gravitational pull of 9.8 meters per second squared, Jake explained. "The standard galactic gravity used on this station and most Federation ships is about 7 meters per second squared. That means Earth's gravity is approximately 1.4 times stronger than what most species evolved under." The Commandant's eyes narrowed. "Continue." Humans evolved under that constant high gravity, Katie added. Our bones grew denser to support our weight. Our muscles developed to be more compact and powerful. Our hearts and lungs became more efficient to pump blood and oxygen against the stronger pull. Everything about our bodies adapted to handle that extra force every single day. So when you are in standard galactic gravity, Danny said, everything feels lighter to us. We feel lighter. Objects feel lighter. We can move faster and carry more because we are used to fighting against a much stronger pull. Commandant Helvar was quiet for a long moment. Jake could see him processing this information. The 40-kilogram pack, the Commandant said slowly. In Earth gravity, how heavy would it feel? Jake did the math quickly. About 56 kilograms, sir. And you train with packs that heavy on Earth? Yes, sir, sometimes heavier. During my preparation for the academy, I regularly trained with 60-kilogram packs. The Commandant walked to the view screen and touched a control. The space view was replaced with a data display showing gravitational measurements of different Federation worlds. Most spacefaring species evolved on worlds with gravity between 0.6 and 0.8 times Earth standard, he read from the display. The Klaxons, who are considered among the physically strongest species, evolved at 0.75. The Draconians evolved at 0.68. He turned back to them. Humans evolved at 1.0 Earth standard, which is approximately 1.4 times the Federation average. Yes, sir, Jake confirmed. The Commandant's expression was difficult to read. This changes things. If humans possess such a significant physical advantage, it affects how we assign roles, how we form teams, how we plan operations. He looked at each of them. It also means that the standard trials are not appropriate for evaluating human capabilities. You need proper challenges, not tests designed for species from lighter worlds. We do not want special treatment, sir, Katie said quickly. This is not special treatment, the Commandant replied. This is appropriate calibration. A test that barely challenges you teaches us nothing about your limits. We need to know what humans can actually do, not what you can do when you are operating at partial capacity. New data appeared, showing physiological information about different species. There is more to this than just strength, is there not? He asked. Jake nodded. Yes, sir. Humans are also endurance specialists. We evolved as persistence hunters. We would chase prey for hours or even days until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. Our ability to regulate body temperature through sweating, our efficient cardiovascular systems, and our mental ability to push through fatigue all contribute to exceptional endurance. Many species can sprint faster than humans, Danny added. They can hit harder in short bursts, but they tire quickly. Humans can maintain steady effort for much longer periods. The Commandant nodded slowly. I begin to understand. Your species trades explosive power for sustained output. Exactly, sir, Katie said. The door to the conference room opened. An officer entered, another species Jake did not recognize. This one was small, barely 4 feet tall, with green fur and large ears. Commandant, you requested Dr. Chen? Yes, send her in. A human woman entered the room. She was in her 40s, with black hair tied back and intelligent eyes behind thin glasses. She wore a white coat over her uniform. Dr. Lisa Chen, the Commandant introduced her, our xenobiology instructor and the senior human faculty member at this academy. Doctor, Jake said, standing along with Katie and Danny. Sit, Dr. Chen said with a smile. I heard about your performance in the weight trial, Jake. Very impressive. You knew this would happen? The Commandant said. It was not a question. I suspected, Dr. Chen admitted. I have been trying to convince the faculty for months that the standard physical trials were not calibrated for human physiology. But without data, they did not take my concerns seriously. You have data now, the Commandant said grimly. Cadet Morrison completed the trial in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. The second best time today was 7 minutes and 41 seconds, by a draconian who outweighs him by at least 40 kilograms. Dr. Chen pulled up a chair and sat down. Let me explain in more detail. Earth is what we call a heavy world. Not the heaviest in the galaxy, but significantly heavier than most planets that produce spacefaring civilizations. This is partly luck. If Earth's gravity had been just slightly stronger, humans might never have developed the technology to reach space. The fuel requirements would have been too high. She brought up images on the view screen, showing Earth compared to other planets. But that high gravity shaped everything about human evolution. Let me give you some specific examples. Human bone density is approximately 1.3 times greater than draconian bone density, despite draconians being larger. Human muscle fibers are more tightly packed, generating more force per cubic centimeter. Human tendons and ligaments are thicker and stronger to handle the stress. The commandant listened carefully, his expression showing growing understanding. There are also cardiovascular advantages, Dr. Chen continued. The human heart is extremely powerful for our body size. It has to be, to pump blood upward against Earth's gravity. Our red blood cell count is higher. Our lungs have greater capacity. All of this means that humans can sustain physical effort with less fatigue. What about other advantages? The commandant asked. Or disadvantages? Humans have excellent endurance, as the cadets mentioned. We also have good hand-eye coordination and fine motor control. Our stereoscopic vision is sharp. We heal relatively quickly from injuries. We can survive in a wide range of temperatures and environments. Dr. Chen paused. As for disadvantages, humans are not as fast as many species over short distances. We lack natural weapons like claws or venom. We cannot see in complete darkness or hear ultrasonic frequencies. Every species has trade-offs. The commandant walked back to the table and sat down in a chair sized for his large frame. I need to report this to the Academy leadership, he said. This has implications beyond just training. If humans have such physical advantages, it affects military planning, squad composition, ship operations, everything. Will this cause problems for us, sir? Jake asked carefully. The commandant looked at him. Problems? No, but it will cause changes. The galaxy has underestimated humanity because you are new and your technology is still developing. We assumed you were fragile, weak, from a comfortable world. We were wrong. You are dismissed for now. Return to your quarters. Dr. Chen, please prepare a detailed report on human physical capabilities. I want it by tomorrow morning. Include recommendations for adjusted training protocols. Yes, Commandant, Dr. Chen said. Jake, Katie, and Danny left the conference room. They walked through the corridors in silence until they were far enough away. Well, Danny said, that was intense. Do you think the others will resent us? Katie asked, when they find out why we have these advantages? Some might, Jake admitted, but Vexlar seemed more curious than angry. I think most of them will understand. It is not like we chose to evolve on a heavy world. They returned to their squad quarters. The common area was empty. Jake went to his sleeping room and lay down on his bed, staring at the ceiling. He had known this moment would come eventually. Humans could not hide their physical capabilities forever. But he had not expected it to happen on the very first trial. Now everyone would be watching, judging, trying to understand what humans could really do. Jake heard voices from the common area. He got up and went to investigate. The rest of the squad had returned. Vexlar, Morlin, Zeph, and Kirasol were all there, talking quietly. They stopped when Jake entered. We want to know, Vexlar said directly. How did you do it? Jake sat down. It is a long explanation, but I promised I would tell you. He explained about Earth's gravity, about human evolution, about the physical adaptations that made humans different. The squad listened without interrupting. When he finished, there was a long silence. "So you are from a heavy world," Zeph said finally. His forearms gestured in what might have been acceptance. "That explains much." "I thought you were weak," Vexlar admitted. "Small and soft compared to my kind." "You are strong in a different way." "We are still the same squad," Jake said. "We still need to work together." "Yes," Moralyn agreed. Her skin had returned to a lighter shade of blue-green, "but now we know our strengths better. You carry heavy loads. I move quietly. Vexlar has raw power. Zeph has 4 hands for technical work. Kirasol processes information quickly. We are stronger together." Kirasol pulsed with green light. Agreement. Diversity creates advantage. The squad spent the rest of the afternoon talking, learning about each other's worlds and abilities. Jake felt something shift. The awkward uncertainty of the first day was fading. They were becoming a real team. He just hoped the rest of the academy would accept the truth about humans as easily as his squad had. By the next morning, word had spread throughout Valor Prime. Jake could feel it as he walked through the corridors. Cadets stopped their conversations when he passed. Some stared openly, others whispered to their companions. In the cafeteria, Jake noticed that the room grew quieter when he, Katie, and Danny entered. They got their food and sat with their squad. Other squads at nearby tables kept glancing over. "You are famous now," Vexlar observed, clicking his mandibles. "Everyone is talking about the human who ran with 40 kilograms like it was air." "I do not want to be famous," Jake said. "I just want to train and learn." "Too late for that," Zeph said, pointing with one of his 4 hands. "Look." A group of draconian cadets was approaching their table. The leader was large even for his species, with deep red scales and multiple scars across his snout. He stopped next to Jake and looked down at him. "You are the human," he said. His voice was deep and challenging. "I am a human," Jake replied calmly. "My name is Jake Morrison." "I am Victor Kane," the draconian said. "I had the second best time yesterday, 7 minutes and 41 seconds. You beat me by more than 2 minutes. Jake was not sure what to say. "You did well. That is a good time." "I want to know if it was luck," Victor said, "or if you are really that strong." "It was not luck," Katie said firmly. "Jake is strong. All humans are, compared to most species. It is because of where we evolved." "I heard the rumors about gravity," Victor said. "I want to see proof. Challenge me to an arm wrestling match, right here, right now." The cafeteria had gone almost completely silent. Everyone was watching. Jake looked at Victor's arm. It was thick with muscle, covered in scales that looked like armor. The draconian probably weighed twice what Jake did. "I do not think that is a good idea," Jake said. "Because you know you will lose?" Victor taunted. "No," Vexlar interrupted, standing up. "Because he does not want to embarrass you in front of everyone. But if you insist, I will watch this with great interest." Victor's eyes narrowed. He pulled a chair over and sat down across from Jake. He put his elbow on the table, his hand open and waiting. Jake sighed. He really did not want to do this, but backing down would make things worse. He put his elbow on the table and gripped Victor's hand. "On 3, Victor said. 1, 2, 3. Jake felt Victor's strength immediately. The draconian was powerful, no doubt about it. Under normal circumstances, he could probably beat most opponents easily. But Jake had grown up fighting Earth's gravity every single day. His muscles were dense, his bones were solid, and his grip was like iron. He pushed back against Victor's force. The draconian's eyes widened as Jake's hand did not budge. Victor pushed harder, his face showing strain. Jake held steady, then began to push back. Victor's hand moved slowly toward the table. He fought it, muscles bulging, but Jake's strength was relentless. In 10 seconds, it was over. Jake pushed Victor's hand flat against the table's surface. The cafeteria erupted in noise. Some cadets cheered, others talked excitedly. Victor pulled his hand back, staring at it like it had betrayed him. "How?" he asked quietly. "Earth's gravity is 1.4 times standard galactic," Jake explained. "We evolved to be strong enough to function under that pull. In standard gravity, we have an advantage." Victor was quiet for a moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. "I understand now. You are not cheating. You are just built different. I respect that. Train hard, human. Maybe I will catch up to you someday." He walked away with his group. The cafeteria slowly returned to normal noise levels. "That went better than I expected," Danny muttered. "Some will react like Victor," Morlin said. "They will respect strength. Others will be jealous or afraid. You must be careful." Jake nodded. He knew she was right. At 1400 hours, all cadets reported to Training Bay 7 again. This time, Commandant Helvar was already there when they arrived. Dr. Chen stood next to him, along with several other instructors. "Attention," the Commandant called out. The bay fell silent. Yesterday's trials revealed important information about species variation in physical capabilities. As a result, we are implementing new protocols. For species that struggled with the standard 40-kilogram load, we are offering additional training programs to build strength and endurance. For species that found the load too easy, we are increasing the challenge appropriately. He gestured to Dr. Chen. We have prepared adjusted loads for each species based on their homeworld gravity and physiology, she explained. The goal is to challenge everyone equally, not to punish or reward based on evolutionary advantages. Each cadet should be pushed to their limits, not beyond them, and not well below them. She looked directly at Jake, Katie, and Danny. For human cadets, the new standard load will be 75 kilograms. This should provide an appropriate challenge while remaining safe. Jake felt a mix of relief and nervousness. 75 kilograms would actually be difficult. That was more than his body weight. But it was fair. "Today's trial will be different," Instructor Kelthor announced. "You will work in your assigned squads. Your squad must transport equipment and supplies across a simulated battlefield. There will be obstacles, time limits, and surprise challenges. Your squad's performance will be evaluated as a unit, not individually." The squads were directed to different sections of the training bay. Jake's squad gathered in their assigned area. A pile of equipment waited for them. Weapons, ammunition cases, medical supplies, communications gear, and water containers. Everything a military unit might need. "You have 15 minutes to plan and distribute the load," Instructor Kelthor said. "Then the trial begins. Your destination is marked on your squad maps. You must arrive within 40 minutes with all equipment intact." The squad huddled together. Zeph pulled up a holographic map showing the course. It wound through simulated terrain, including trenches, walls, water obstacles, and areas marked as danger zones. "We need to distribute weight based on capability," Vexlock said. "Jake, Katie, Danny, you take the heaviest items. The rest of us carry what we can manage." "Wait," Jake said. "That is not the best strategy." "Why not?" Vexlar asked. "Because if we carry everything heavy, and you carry light loads, you will not be challenged. You will not improve. Also, if something happens to one of us, the whole squad fails." Jake looked at the equipment. "We should distribute it more evenly. I can carry more than my share, yes, but everyone should carry something significant." "He is right," Morlin said. "We are a team. We succeed together or fail together." They worked out a distribution. Jake took one of the ammunition cases, about 50 kilograms, plus some additional gear, bringing his total to about 65 kilograms. Katie and Danny took similar loads. Vexlar took 40 kilograms. Morlin took 25. Zeph took 30, distributed across his forearms. Kirasol, whose crystalline body could not carry much physical weight, took the communications equipment and would navigate. "Time is up," Instructor Kelthor announced. "Begin." The squad moved out. The first section was relatively easy, flat ground with minor obstacles. They made good progress. Jake adjusted the ammunition case on his back, finding a comfortable position. Then they reached the first major obstacle, a trench 5 feet deep and 10 feet wide. They had to get down, cross the bottom, and climb the other side with all their equipment. "I will go first," Vexlar said. He jumped down into the trench. His strong legs absorbed the impact easily. "Pass me the equipment, then come down." They worked together, passing equipment down to Vexlar, then climbing down themselves. Jake went last, dropping down with his heavy load. The landing jarred his knees, but he stayed upright. The far wall of the trench was steep and muddy. Morlin tried first and slipped, sliding back down. Zeph made it halfway before losing his grip. "Let me try something," Jake said. He handed his ammunition case to Vexlar. Then he climbed the wall, using his strength to drive his fingers into the dirt for handholds. At the top, he braced himself and reached down. "Hand me the equipment. I will pull it up." They passed items up, one by one. Jake hauled them over the edge. Then he helped pull up squad members. Morlin was light, easy to lift. Zeph was heavier, but manageable. Vexlar was the hardest, his shell and size making him massive. Jake had to strain, his muscles burning, but he got the klaxon over the edge. "Thank you," Vexlar said, mandibles clicking in what Jake now recognized as surprise. They continued. The course threw more challenges at them, a wall too high for most of them to climb. Jake boosted them up, then climbed last while carrying multiple packs. A water crossing, where Morlin swam across and helped the others who struggled in the deep section. A narrow passage, where Zeph's multiple arms were able to secure equipment while the others squeezed through. 20 minutes in, they heard an alarm. Red lights began flashing. "Simulation update," a voice announced over loudspeakers. "Casualty event. One squad member is injured and cannot walk. Squad must transport the injured to the finish point." Curaçao's light dimmed. "I am the casualty," her translator said. Jake looked at the crystal being. She was not heavy, maybe 20 kilograms, but someone would have to carry her, plus their equipment. "I can do it," Jake said immediately. "No," Vexlar said. "You are already carrying the most weight. Let me take her." "You are carrying your limit already," Jake countered. "I have room for more." "Jake, let Vexlar try. If he cannot manage, you can help." Vexlar carefully picked up Curaçao and settled her on his back, securing her with straps. He took a step, then another. His legs trembled slightly under the combined weight, but he stayed upright. "I can do this," he said. They moved slower now. Vexlar was clearly struggling, but he refused to give up. Jake stayed close, ready to help if needed. When they reached a steep uphill section, Vexlar finally admitted he needed assistance. "Jake, can you take the ammunition case? I need to lighten my load." "Of course." Jake took the ammunition case from Vexlar. Combined with his other equipment and the new weight, he was now carrying about 90 kilograms. It was heavy even for him. He felt the strain in his back and legs, but it was manageable. They pushed forward. Jake's breathing grew heavier. Sweat ran down his face, but he kept moving, step after step. The finish line appeared ahead. They had 5 minutes left on the clock. The squad put on a final burst of speed. Vexlar's legs pumped hard, despite the weight of Curaçao. Morlin moved efficiently through the last obstacles. Zeph used all 4 arms to maintain balance. Katie and Danny pushed through their own exhaustion. They crossed the finish line with 2 minutes to spare. All equipment accounted for. All squad members present. Jake set down the ammunition case and bent over, hands on his knees, catching his breath. That had been genuinely difficult. He was actually tired. 38 minutes and 14 seconds, Instructor Kelthor announced. All objectives completed. Well done. The squad collapsed on the ground, exhausted but successful. That was harder than the weight trial, Danny gasped. But we did it together, Morlund said. We used everyone's strengths. Vexlar looked at Jake. You saved us. When I could not carry both Kirasol and the ammunition, you took the extra weight. No one else in this squad could have done that. You carried Kirasol most of the way, Jake pointed out. That was not easy. No, Vexlar admitted. It was not. But I learned something. Strength is not just about how much you can lift. It is about not giving up when things get heavy. Jake smiled. 3 weeks passed. The combat readiness trials continued with new challenges every day. Tactical simulations, where squads had to outthink enemy forces. Combat training with various weapons. Survival exercises in harsh simulated environments. Leadership rotations, where each squad member took turns commanding the others. Jake's squad grew stronger with each trial. They learned to work together, to trust each other, to use their different abilities in combination. Vexlar's raw power complemented Jake's endurance. Morlund's stealth allowed her to scout ahead. Zeph's technical skills kept their equipment functioning. Kirasol's quick thinking helped them solve complex problems. Katie's leadership brought them together. Danny's adaptability made him valuable in any situation. The other cadets stopped seeing Jake and the other humans as weak or primitive. Instead, they became curious. Groups of aliens would approach in the cafeteria, asking questions about Earth. What was it like to grow up under such strong gravity? Did it hurt? How did humans manage to build spacecraft when the fuel requirements must have been enormous? Jake answered patiently, explaining that humans did not think of Earth's gravity as strong because they had never known anything different. To them, it was just normal. One evening, Jake was in the common area studying tactical manuals when Commandant Helvar appeared at the door. The entire squad immediately stood at attention. At ease, the Commandant said. Cadet Morrison, come with me. The rest of you may continue your activities. Jake followed the Commandant through the corridors. They walked in silence until they reached the Commandant's office. It was a large room with windows showing space outside. Battle trophies lined the walls. A desk made of dark metal dominated the center. Sit, the Commandant ordered. The Commandant remained standing, looking out the window at the stars. You have performed well, he said. Your squad consistently ranks in the top 10%. Your individual scores are exceptional. The instructors are impressed. Thank you, sir. I am not finished, the Commandant continued. The Academy leadership has been discussing humanity's role in the Federation military. Your performance, and that of the other human cadets, has forced us to reconsider many assumptions. He turned to face Jake. We need humans, not as token representatives or diversity additions. We need humans because you bring capabilities that other species lack. Jake listened carefully. The problem is that we do not have enough data yet, the Commandant said. 3 human cadets is not a large sample. We need more. The Federation Council has authorized an expansion of the human program. Next cycle, we will accept 20 human cadets instead of 3. That is good news, sir. It is, but it creates a challenge. Those new cadets will need guidance. They will face the same prejudices you faced, the same doubts. They will need someone who understands what they are going through. The Commandant sat down at his desk. I want you to help develop a training program specifically for human cadets. You will work with Dr. Chen and a team of instructors. Your experience will be valuable. Jake was surprised. Sir, I am still a cadet myself. I have only been here 3 weeks. Which makes you perfect for this task, the Commandant said. You remember what it was like to arrive. You know what worked and what did not. You can help us prepare for the influx of new humans. When would this start? Immediately. You will continue your regular training, but you will also spend 10 hours per week working on the human program. This will be noted in your record and will count toward leadership experience. Jake thought about it. It was more work, more responsibility, but it was also a chance to help other humans succeed. I will do it, sir. Good. Report to Dr. Chen tomorrow at 0700 hours. She will brief you on the project. The commandant paused. One more thing. Your squad has been selected for a special trial next week. It will be the most challenging exercise so far. I cannot give you details, but I will tell you this. It will test everything you have learned. Prepare your squad well. Jake nodded. Yes, sir. The next morning, Jake met with Dr. Chen in her office. She had documents and data displays covering her desk. Thank you for agreeing to help, she said, gesturing for him to sit. I have been pushing for a structured human program since I arrived at this academy 2 years ago. Now, we finally have the support to make it happen. She pulled up files on her display. Here is what I am thinking. We create a preparation guide for human cadets before they arrive. Information about the station, the other species they will encounter, what to expect from training. We develop modified physical trials that actually challenge humans instead of being too easy. We establish mentorship pairs between experienced and new cadets. Jake looked at the plans. This is comprehensive. It has to be. The Federation is watching humanity closely. They want to see if we are worth the investment. Every human who succeeds at this academy proves that we deserve a place in the galactic community. Everyone who fails raises doubts. Dr. Chen met his eyes. No pressure, right? Jake smiled slightly. No pressure at all. They spent 3 hours going through details. Chen wanted Jake's input on physical training protocols, social challenges, and ways to help humans integrate with alien squads. Jake shared his experiences, both good and bad. The week passed quickly. Jake balanced his regular training, his work with Dr. Chen, and his squad responsibilities. His squad mates noticed he was busy, but did not complain. They understood that what he was doing would help future humans. Then came the day of the special trial. The entire academy assembled in the main hangar bay. Commandant Helvar stood on a platform above them. Today's trial is different from anything you have done before, he announced. You will be deployed to the surface of this system's 4th planet. It is a harsh world with minimal atmosphere, extreme temperatures, and hostile terrain. Your squads will be dropped at different locations. Your objective is to reach the extraction point within 48 hours. A holographic map appeared, showing a barren, rocky planet with deep canyons and jagged mountains. You will carry full combat loads. You will have limited supplies. You will face simulated enemy forces. Squads that fail to reach extraction on time will fail this trial. Squads that lose members to enemy capture will lose points. This trial counts for 20% of your final rankings. The hangar filled with nervous murmurs. One more thing, the commandant continued. There will be casualties, simulated of course, but realistic. Your squad must decide how to handle injured members. Leave them behind, and you fail the trial entirely. Carry them, and you slow down. Make the hard choices that officers must make. The squads were loaded into transport shuttles. Jake's squad gathered their equipment. Jake was given his 75-kilogram load, plus additional medical supplies. The total weight was close to 90 kilograms. The shuttle descended through the thin atmosphere. Through the window, Jake saw a landscape of red rock and dark shadows. The planet looked dead, empty of any life. 30 seconds to drop, the pilot announced. The shuttle landed hard. The door opened and Jake's squad rushed out. The air was thin and cold. Their suits provided oxygen and temperature regulation, but Jake could feel the planet's hostility. Move out, Katie ordered. She was squad leader this week. Stay together. Watch for enemies. They marched across broken terrain. The reduced atmosphere made breathing harder, even with their suits. The ground was covered in loose rocks that shifted under their feet. Jake's heavy load pressed down on his shoulders. 2 hours in, Kurasal detected movement. Enemy patrol, 300 meters north. They watched as a group of drones passed by, searching. The drones were part of the simulation, programmed to hunt cadets. They did not see us, Zep whispered. They continued, avoiding enemy patrols, crossing difficult terrain. Jake's strength allowed him to help others over obstacles. When Moralyn slipped on a steep slope, he caught her before she fell into a crevasse. Night fell. The temperature dropped sharply. They set up a temporary shelter and took turns on watch. Jake took the first shift, his eyes scanning the darkness for threats. On the second day, disaster struck. They were crossing a narrow bridge over a deep canyon when explosions erupted around them. Simulated artillery, part of the trial. The bridge shook violently. "Run!" Katie shouted. They sprinted across. Most made it, but Vexlar, carrying heavy equipment, moved too slowly. A simulated explosion hit near him. His suit registered a hit, and red lights began flashing. "Casualty," the suit's computer announced. "Left legs damaged. Mobility reduced by 70%. Vexlar collapsed. His legs would not support his weight properly. The squad gathered around him. They were still 8 hours from the extraction point. Carrying Vexlar would be incredibly difficult. "Leave me," Vexlar said. "I am slowing you down. You can still make it if you go now." "We do not leave squad members behind," Katie said firmly. "But the rules," Vexlar began. "The rules say we fail if we leave you," Jake interrupted. "So we are not leaving you." "How much do you weigh, Vexlar?" "Approximately 95 kilograms. Jake did quick math. With his current load and Vexlar's weight, he would be carrying about 185 kilograms total. That was more than double his body weight. On Earth, it would feel like 260 kilograms. It would be incredibly difficult, but not impossible. "I can carry him," Jake said, "if we redistribute the equipment." "Are you insane?" Danny asked. "That much weight will destroy you." "Do we have another choice?" Jake asked. "Can anyone else carry Vexlar?" They all knew the answer. Only a human could attempt it. They worked quickly. Katie, Danny, Zeph, and Moralyn split Jake's equipment among themselves. Then Jake knelt down and let Vexlar climb onto his back. The klaxon's weight settled across Jake's shoulders. Jake stood up slowly. The weight was crushing. He felt it pressing down through his entire body. His legs trembled. His back screamed in protest. "Can you do this?" Katie asked, concerned. "I have to," Jake said. "Let's move." The next 8 hours were the hardest of Jake's life. Every step was agony. The weight of Vexlar plus his remaining gear pushed him to his absolute limit. Sweat poured down his face. His muscles burned with fatigue. Several times he almost fell, but he caught himself and kept moving. His squadmates helped however they could. Moralyn scouted the easiest paths. Zeph used his technical skills to mark the route. Katie encouraged him constantly. Danny walked beside him, ready to catch him if he fell. "You can do this, Jake," Katie said. "Just a little further." "I cannot," Jake gasped. "Too heavy." "Yes, you can," Vexlar said from his back. "You are the strongest person I know, not because you can lift heavy things, because you do not give up." Jake took another step, then another. He focused on nothing except moving forward, one foot in front of the other. Do not stop. Do not fall. The extraction point appeared ahead, a landing zone marked with lights. Other squads were already there, having arrived earlier. They stared as Jake's squad approached. Jake walked the final 100 meters. His vision was blurry with exhaustion. His legs barely functioned. But he did not stop. He crossed into the extraction zone and carefully lowered Vexlar to the ground. Then his legs gave out, and he collapsed. Medical officers rushed over. "Are you injured?" "Just tired," Jake managed to say, so tired. They checked him over. No serious damage, just extreme fatigue. They helped him to a recovery area where he could rest. Commandant Helvar appeared, looking down at Jake with an expression that might have been respect. "You carried a 95-kilogram klaxon for 8 hours across hostile terrain while already carrying equipment," he said. "That should have been impossible." "Humans are good at doing impossible things," Jake said weakly. "We are persistence hunters. We do not quit." The Commandant nodded slowly. "I am beginning to understand what humanity can contribute to the Federation. It is not just your strength or endurance. It is your refusal to give up, your commitment to your teammates. These are qualities we need in our officers." He looked at Jake's squad, who had gathered around their exhausted teammate. "You all passed the trial. Top marks. Not because you were the fastest or the strongest, but because you understood what truly mattered. You brought everyone home." Later, after Jake had recovered, the transport shuttle docked with Valor Prime at exactly 0800 hours. Jake Morrison pressed his face against the small window and watched the massive space station grow larger. He had seen pictures before, but nothing prepared him for the real thing. The station was huge, shaped like a wheel spinning slowly in the darkness of space. Lights dotted its surface like stars, and ships of all sizes moved around it like insects around a lamp. "First time seeing it?" asked the pilot, a friendly Aquarian with blue skin and large eyes. "Yes," Jake said. "It's bigger than I thought." The pilot laughed, a sound like water bubbling. "Wait until you see the inside. The academy takes up 3 full sections. You will get lost for the first week. Everyone does." Jake nodded and grabbed his bag as the shuttle finished docking. The door opened with a hiss, and he stepped into the station. The gravity felt light under his feet. He had read that the station used standard galactic gravity, which was about 70% of what he was used to. It made him feel strange, like he might float away if he jumped. The docking bay was crowded with cadets from dozens of different species. Jake saw tall insectoids with shiny black shells, small furry creatures that barely reached his waist, floating jellyfish-like beings inside water-filled suits, and dozens of others he could not identify. He was one of only 3 humans in this year's class. A loud voice boomed across the bay. "All cadets, form up by species designation, now." Jake looked around and spotted 2 other humans standing near a pillar. He walked over to them. One was a tall woman with short red hair and freckles. The other was a stocky man with dark skin and a shaved head. "Jake Morrison," he introduced himself. "Katie Sullivan," the woman said, shaking his hand firmly. "From New York." "Danny Washington," the man added. "California? You?" "Colorado," Jake replied. They did not have time to talk more. An officer approached them, a tall reptilian creature with green scales and yellow eyes. He wore a dark blue uniform with silver markings on the shoulders. "Human cadets," the officer said in perfect English, though his voice had a slight hiss to it. "I am Officer Talvik. Follow me." They followed him through wide corridors filled with other cadets. Jake noticed that many of the aliens stared at them. Some looked curious, others looked doubtful. He heard whispers in languages he did not understand. "They are wondering if we will make it through the first week," Katie whispered. "Why?" Danny asked. "Because humans are new to the Federation," she explained. "Only 15 years since first contact. Most of these species have been spacefaring for thousands of years. They think we are primitive." Officer Talvik led them to a large auditorium. The room was enormous, with seats arranged in curved rows that went up toward the ceiling. It could hold thousands. Jake, Katie, and Danny were directed to seats near the back. Around them, other cadets filed in, filling the space with dozens of different colors, shapes, and sizes. When everyone was seated, the lights dimmed. A spotlight appeared on the stage below. A massive figure walked into the light. He was at least 8 feet tall, covered in dark red scales, with horns curving back from his head and wings folded against his back. His eyes glowed like hot coals. "That is Commandant Helvar," someone whispered nearby. "A Draconian. They are the greatest warriors in the galaxy." The Commandant's voice was deep and powerful. It filled the entire room, without any microphone. "Cadets of Valor Prime," he began. "You come from 147 different worlds. You speak 322 different languages. You have different bodies, different minds, different ways of thinking. But you are here for the same reason. You want to serve the Galactic Federation. You want to protect those who cannot protect themselves. You want to be officers in the greatest military force this galaxy has ever known." He paused and looked across the crowd. His glowing eyes seemed to see each individual. "Most of you will fail," he continued. "Not because you are weak, not because you are stupid, but because being an officer requires more than strength or intelligence. It requires dedication, sacrifice, the ability to put others before yourself. The Academy will test you in ways you cannot imagine. It will push you to your limits and beyond. Some of you will quit. Some will be asked to leave. Only the best will graduate." Every cadet listened. "Tomorrow, we begin the combat readiness trials," Commandant Helvar said. "These trials will test your physical abilities, your mental strength, your tactical thinking, and your ability to work with others. You will compete as individuals and as squads. Your performance will determine your ranking and your future assignments. Take tonight to rest. You will need it." The commandant left the stage. The lights came back on. Around Jake, cadets began talking nervously. "Combat readiness trials on the second day?" Danny muttered. "They do not waste time." "What do you think they will make us do?" Katie asked. Jake shrugged. "Physical tests, probably. Maybe obstacle courses, or combat simulations." Officer Talvik appeared again. "Human cadets, come with me. I will show you to your quarters." They followed him out of the auditorium and through more corridors. They passed training rooms where cadets practiced with weapons, classrooms with holographic displays, medical bays with strange equipment, and cafeterias filled with the smell of foods Jake could not identify. "This is Section 7, Officer Talvik explained. "The Academy occupies Sections 5, 6, and 7. Your living quarters are here in 7. You will share a common area with other species, but humans have their own sleeping rooms with Earth-standard gravity and atmosphere." He stopped at a door marked with symbols Jake was learning to read as Standard Galactic. The door opened, revealing a large common room with seats, tables, and view screens. Several alien cadets were already there, looking up as the humans entered. Officer Talvik gestured to each of them. "This is your squad. You will train together, eat together, and compete together. Squad performance affects individual rankings, so learn to work as a team." There was a tall insectoid with a black shell and multiple eyes, an amphibious being with smooth blue-green skin and webbed hands, a creature with 4 arms and gray skin covered in geometric patterns, and a being that looked like it was made of crystal, glowing softly with inner light. "Introduce yourselves," Officer Talvik ordered. "Learn each other's names and capabilities. Tomorrow, you will need each other." The officer left. The squad members looked at each other in awkward silence. The insectoid spoke first, its voice clicking and buzzing. A translator device on its chest converted the sounds to Standard Galactic. "I am Vexlar. I am from the Klaxon Hive worlds. I am bred for combat." The amphibious one was next. "Moralin of the Aquarian Depths. I am trained in stealth and infiltration." The 4-armed being nodded. "Zeph, Tetran Colonies, engineering and technical specialist." The crystal being pulsed with colored light. A voice came from a device it wore. "Kira Sol, Luminar Collective, Communications and analysis. They all looked at Jake. Jake Morrison, he said. Human, from Earth. He paused, not sure what else to say. I am good at endurance training. Vexlar's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Endurance will not help you carry a combat pack, human. These trials test strength and speed. Katie stepped forward. We will see about that. The squad settled into uneasy conversation. They had less than 24 hours before the trials began. Jake went to his sleeping room later and set the gravity to Earth standard. The increased weight felt good, normal. Out in the common area, everything felt too light. He lay on his bed and thought about tomorrow. He knew what the other species thought about humans. Weak, fragile, from a backwater world with primitive technology. They did not know the truth yet, but they would learn soon enough.